All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the boutique fitness franchise, SPENGA. Now, it's a really slick brand with a unique workout, no doubt. But the real question is, does that make it a smart investment? To figure that out, we're not going to guess. We're going straight to the official rulebook, the Franchise Disclosure Document, or FDD.
So SPENGA's whole pitch is simple and powerful. You get spin, strength, and yoga, all wrapped up in one 60-minute class. It's a fantastic concept, but for you as a potential investor, the question is a little different. Does that slick 3-in-1 workout translate into a strong, profitable 3-in-1 business? That's what we're here to unpack.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the concept itself. What exactly is the SPENGA experience that you'd be selling day in and day out? Because it's a lot more than just a place to sweat. It's a carefully crafted environment built to play at the very top of the boutique fitness world.
At its heart, you've got this trifecta, as they call it. This is the secret sauce. Every single class is broken down perfectly. 20 minutes of high-energy spin, then 20 minutes of serious strength training, and it all wraps up with 20 minutes of yoga. The idea is to give people a complete, well-rounded workout in just 1 hour. And for busy clients, that is a huge selling point.
And this is how SPENGA justifies its premium price tag. It's not just a workout, it's a full-on sensory experience. We're talking dedicated zones for each part of the workout, so it feels like 3 studios in one. They even use aromatherapy to set the mood, and the music isn't an afterthought. It's like a live DJ set. It all works together to create this amazing community vibe that gets members to sign up and, more importantly, to stick around.
So the concept is polished. It's appealing. No question about it. But what does it cost to get the keys to one of these places? Okay, let's talk numbers.
Let that number sink in for a second. That's the estimated range to open just one SPENGA studio. And that chunk of change covers everything from your franchise fee and construction to all that high-end equipment and your initial cash flow. Oh, and to even get in the game, they want to see that you have a net worth of at least $500,000 with a cool $250,000 of that just sitting in cash. This is a serious financial commitment, for sure.
And of course, that big number is just to get started. The fees don't stop. Every single month, you're on the hook for a 7% royalty on your gross sales, or $1,000, whichever is more. You also have to spend a minimum of $3 to $4 grand a month on local marketing. Then you start tacking on all the other required fees for technology, for music, even for the aromatherapy oils. And these bills show up every month like clockwork, whether you're making money or not.
We've seen the costs, and they are definitely substantial. So that leads us to the million-dollar question, right? What is the potential return? What can you actually make with this thing? For that, we're going to look at the most important part of the FDD, item 19, the financial performance section.
Okay, so this chart shows the numbers for the one studio that's owned by an affiliate of the franchisor. Think of it as their corporate flagship store. And wow, it pulled in over $776 grand and netted over $300,000 before other costs. That's a 40% margin, which is really strong. But, and this is a big but, this is their own store. It might have advantages a franchisee wouldn't. So what about the actual franchise locations?
And here is where the story gets a lot more complicated. The FDD shows us the numbers for 33 different franchise studios. The top-performing studios, they averaged over $755,000, almost identical to the corporate store. Awesome. But look at the bottom tier. They averaged less than $379,000. That is a massive, massive gap. It shows you that while the potential for high revenue is there, it is absolutely not a guarantee.
And because of that huge range in performance, the government makes them put this disclaimer in here. I'm going to read it word for word because it's that important. Some outlets have earned this much. Your individual results may differ. There is no assurance that you'll earn as much. It's their way of saying, hey, just because the top guys are crushing it doesn't mean you will. It's a reality check.
Okay, let's step away from the muddy for a minute and talk about what it's actually like to run a SPENGA studio. The franchise agreement spells out exactly what's expected of you. And trust me, the list of obligations is long and very specific.
The demands on you are pretty significant. Right off the bat, you've got just 180 days to find and lock down your location. That's a tight deadline. And here's a huge one. Up to 85% of your startup costs must be spent with their approved vendors. That control extends everywhere. They control your marketing, they control your website, they control your social media. You're buying into a system, and that means you give up a lot of control.
Let's drill down on that required supplier thing, because it's really important. The franchisor tells you exactly who you have to buy your most expensive stuff from. The bikes, the weights, the sound system, all of it. And the FDD says very clearly that the franchisor gets rebates, you can call them kickbacks, from those suppliers when you make a purchase. In 2024 alone, they made over $121,000 from that. So it's a major part of their own business model.
So we've hit the concept, the cost, the operations. Now it's time for what could be the single most important section for any investor. We need to talk about the risks. And these aren't just risks we've identified. These are the risks that SPENGA discloses themselves, right there in the FDD. I want you to just take a second and read that quote. It's pulled directly from the special risks section of their own legal document. You almost never see a franchisor admit something so frankly. For them to put in writing that their own financial situation could make it hard for them to support you, well, that's not just a red flag, it's a massive blaring siren.
And this data might give us a hint as to why they included that warning. The total number of SPENGA studios has actually been going down for the past couple of years. It dropped from 56 locations down to 49. As an investor, you typically want to join a system that's growing, not one that's shrinking. It's another trend you have to pay close attention to.
So let's put it all together. You've got this stark contrast. On one side, you have the franchisor's documented financial struggles, including something called a member's deficit, which basically means their liabilities are greater than their assets. But on the other side, your obligations as a franchisee are ironclad. You have to make those minimum payments no matter what. Your spouse might have to sign the agreement, and if you ever have a legal fight, you have to go to their home state of Illinois to do it. The risk here is clearly not shared equally.
And that brings us right back to where we started. On one hand, you have this fantastic, premium concept that's perfectly positioned in a hot market. The potential earnings, if you're a top performer, are really impressive. But on the other hand, you have a franchisor that is openly telling you about its own financial instability, and you have rigid, demanding obligations. So the ultimate question is the potential reward here worth dealing with these very clear, very documented risks? Look, that is a question that only you can answer. This explainer is designed to give you the lay of the land, but it is absolutely not a substitute for doing your own homework. Your next step, if you're serious, is to get your hands on the full franchise disclosure document, read every single word, and then sit down with a good franchise attorney and a CPA. That's how you make an informed decision. Thanks for tuning in.